Hello and welcome to Freedom News, the news you can use to help keep Canada free. A very interesting story coming out of the National Post, especially for those of us here in Atlantic Canada, and of course particularly here in New Brunswick, where the Irivng's basis of operations is held. The headline reads, Irivng briefed top federal officials on plans to sue Postmedia after government shared reporters' questions. Irivng's president briefed top federal officials on the company's plans to sue Postmedia after the news organization asked questions about potential problems with the multi-billion-dollar Arctic and offshore patrol ship program. According to newly released documents, the Liberal government has tried to distance itself from Irivng's actions, with Procurement Minister Carla Qualtrough saying she wished the firm hadn't threatened Postmedia with legal action in March after the government shared with it a reporter's questions about potential problems with welds on the new vessel. Well, what do you expect was going to happen when you rat out journalists to your corporate buddies? But documents obtained by Postmedia show Irivng briefed Qualtrough's top officials at Procurement Canada, including Deputy Minister Bill Matthews, as well as bureaucrats at the Department of National Defence, about the company's legal strategy, a little more than an hour after Irving's lawyers threatened the news organization with a lawsuit. Irivng President Kevin McCoy wrote to Jody, Bill, and Pat, outlining the legal action that would be taken if Postmedia published anything that impunged our professional reputation. Oh. And McCoy's email was directed to Matthews, D&D Deputy Minister Jody Thomas, and Pat Finn, D&D's procurement chief. The bureaucrats raised no objections to the company's strategy, and Matthews emailed McCoy to sympathize with his concerns about the news outlet. In an email Wednesday to Postmedia, Procurement Canada said Matthews was working relationships with shipyards, however, does not provide them with business or legal advice. No, he just gives them the nod to go ahead by expressing sympathy. The issue started March 6th after Postmedia contacted Procurement Canada and D&D with questions about potential problems with welds on board the Arctic ships being built for the federal government by Irivng. The department quickly alerted Irivng about the inquiry, and 2 hours later, McCoy threatened Postmedia with legal action. Must be nice having friends up in high places that will rat out journalists to you. This is becoming more and more like China. In May, the Office of Innovation Minister Navit Bains alerted Irivng that Globe and Mail journalists had asked the federal government whether an investment in an Alberta French fry plant counted towards Irving's industrial benefits requirements established under the same Arctic and offshore patrol ship program. As a result, the newspaper received a letter from an Irivng lawyer threatening legal action if the article contained any allegations of improper contact. Now we have Navit Bains ratting out journalists from the Globe and Mail all over some stupid French fries, for crying out loud. Good grief. They didn't have no shame. So much for freedom of the press. In Postmedia's case, D&D subsequently confirmed that there has been minor problems with welds on the Arctic ships. In the case of the Globe, Irivng confirmed that it had received the approximately $40 million industrial benefit credit for the French fry plant. So we have that there are indeed some problems with the welds on these Arctic ships. Talk about some icy coffins for our men and women at sea. And $40 million for a French fry plant? That's some expensive French fries. I guess Little Potato can't just get enough of his namesake. The Liberal government has faced criticism from opposition MPs for its close links to Atlantic Canada's powerful Irivng family. And they are indeed quite powerful. They own nearly every newspaper in the region, plus pulp and paper mill, Kent's Building Supplies, Iriving Oil, and trucking, and much more. The article continues. The Federal Privacy Commissioner recently found the government broke privacy rules by revealing to Iriving the identity of the Post media reporter. Gee, you think? But in an interview with the CBC's Power and Politics on Tuesday, Qualto said she didn't think the government's relationship with the Irvings was too close. No, you're just shacking up in bed with each other. Someone's getting sucked pretty well. The Department of Innovation, Science and Economic Development says it has a contract with Iriving that requires the department to alert the firm when journalists are asking questions related to the company. The department will not say how many times it has done that. This should never have happened. This contract is null and void due to privacy laws. And a little thing found in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms that's enshrined with the Canadian Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, that says freedom of the press. In 2016, Procurement Canada also tipped off an Iriving representative that Post Media was asking questions about the $65 billion Canadian Surface Combatant Program. Iriving is to build those warships for the federal government. This just doesn't stop with this company, with this government. They're constantly violating free press in this country. Iriving spokesman Sean Lewis has said that while the firm respects the works of journalists, in the case of the Globe and Post Media, the company threatened legal action because those news organizations had highly inaccurate information that would cause our company and the reputation of our hardworking employees considerable reputational damage. Sorry, buddy, but as proven, actually, the information was 100% correct. You're putting our Navy personnel at risk. It should be put out of business. Post Media's questions about the welds on the Arctic and offshore patrol ships prompted much concern within Procurement Canada, according to the documents obtained under the Access to Information Law. How are we going to do this now and keep the Irving safe without coming across as total dictators? The records indicate that McCoy got a lot of calls on this from ADMs and DMs, which are assistant deputy ministers and deputy ministers. I'm sure bloody hell bet he did. The stinking rats. On the issue, a reference to deputy ministers and assistant deputy ministers, as I said, the Privy Council office was also notified that Iriving was in contact with Post Media, according to the records. And we all know just how partisan the Privy Council office actually is. Don't we, Michael Warnick? Thank you for watching. Remember, like if you like, share, comment, of course, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you're able to, please feel free to click the PayPal donation link in the description. Thank you, and God bless.